I've had a sudden influx of napkins because I've actually ordered out for the first time in a while, twice now, and it's really nice. It's really a nice thing. Alright, replay is loaded up. In a second, it'll allow me to pause. There we go. You know what the deal is. We always go to photo mode and take a look at our grid. Actually, before I do that, okay. And I don't think I can see people's names in photo mode. No, I cannot. But we can still do our track walk. We'll do it from the back this time. We'll do it from the back of the GR4 field. What have we got? Is that it? All right. We have our recent addition to the GR4 field. Running the number 666, the Devil. The usual smattering of Ferraris, a Lambo, a couple other Lambos. The Lambos seem to do very well in the GR4 field. They don't do too bad in the GR3 field, though. It looks like, however, I think we're missing a Lambo in the GR3 field, if I'm not mistaken here. Missing a red one, I believe, for Ben. But maybe Ben's in here and just changed colors. Nope. We've got Hair Raiser up front in the Aston, the Alfa Romeo rather. Big Red following through in the Ferrari. Doug in that third Aston. I keep calling them Astons. They're not Astons. They are Italian. Alfa Romeos. Vlave is going to be in that blue and black Ferrari that you saw there. And Team B Racing, B7 Racing rather, in the Lambo that I was looking at. Now, Superboy is in a Ferrari GR. Sorry, I was wrong. A Lambo GR4, followed by Bar in that Ferrari. Then Type R also in a Ferrari. Happy Pappy still in that green Lambo. And the Monkey Mafia, our newest addition, in the blue Alfa Romeo GR4 car. So that's our grid. We've got a few viewers here. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna shoot the shit for a second. See if we can get a couple more before we get through the start of the race. Anybody watching that was in the race? Do you have any no spoilers of course, but like if there's anything exciting that you think that I should definitely stop for, put it in the chat. And to be honest, you'll probably have to give me another reminder anyway of it because my brain is my brain. I'm me. What's up, Super Ninja? How are you? Good to see you. Here for some race commentary. We're actually going to do some lobby racing after this, so it won't take too long here. Ooh, ready to use Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone. I finally downloaded it, y'all. I finally downloaded it. I am going to turn these notifications off so they don't keep popping up while we stream. And then we'll get started. I don't remember. That's not up here. That is down here in notifications. Alright. Turn them off. Cool. Cool. I lied about getting started. Give me 2 seconds. You may wonder what she's doing. She's filling her bowl is what she's doing. Or clearing it out and then filling it. Because this is my stream. And, you know. Hopefully I can say that. Bar's going to be like, why did you say that on commentary for my race. Why would you do that, Tati? Why? And to Bar, I say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. My bad. You got your own livery theme going for you, and your job is going good. Good. What do you mean you got your own livery theme going for you? Like, you have a whole bunch of new liveries? Like, for different cars, but just, like, one theme? Explain yourself. Please. I'm all doing this, like, right in the mic. It's ASMR. You like that? Yeah, I thought so. Alright, I'm gonna let Super Ninja answer the question, and then we'll start for real. It's an alien theme with your name. It's your nickname with the people you race with. Okay. Gotcha. I thought I understood it. Nice. Well, all right. Let's get to it, y'all. We got a 50-minute race to look at here at Lago. Oh, I'm an idiot. Sorry, y'all. I did not mean to go all the way out of that. Let's get started. Or not. So, we are at Lago Maggiorre East today, which is a shorter track, a smaller track, probably better suited to GR4s or slower. Even GR4s, I would say, might be slightly too big or too fast for this particular layout, if it's the layout I'm thinking about. But it still makes for fun, tight racing, because at the end of the day, it's still Lago Maggiorre. It's just a very shortened version of it. Very shortened. All right, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Starting off, 10 racers rather. Not a huge grid, but if we keep them all, we should still have some pretty good racing here. Like I said, Lago Maggiorre East. It is a shortened course. Whew, long start delay, but finally they're off. Nobody stuck. Everybody gets a really good start. It's what we've been seeing in all these races. Round 4, nobody, over revving it, spinning the tires. Nobody is really having a bad time there. For some reason, I'm not able to switch between players. There we go. Now I am. That was weird. But here we are on board with Big Red, who got a big hole shot and came up ahead of Hair Raiser, which makes sense. The Ferrari's got a crazy launch on that thing. GR4 is pretty packed up through 4th place, but B7 Racing for some reason is way back. In fact, still pretty close to the GR4 field, which, not surprising, is led by Supra right now, and then followed by Bars, what we're used to seeing. Got Happy Pappy in 3rd, and a big old gap already to Type R. Wow, the Monkey Mafia got stuck. I didn't realize Monkey Mafia is stuck on track. I don't know. He's in reverse and revving it. Yep. I don't think the Monkey Mafia is going to make this race, unfortunately. Look at GR3 already looking too wide in the hairpin here. Coming back onto the start-finish straight. This is such a tricky corner. I'm not going to lie. I'm really bad at that corner. I don't know where to brake for it ever. Every time I race here, it's like a random lobby. It's always in different types of cars and different types of tire combinations, so the braking is never consistent, and by the time I figure it out, we're done with our race and we've moved on, and I'm not coming back for another 3 to 4 months, right? So kudos actually to all these drivers for putting in the practice to get to know the track. You can tell, like, the first 4 definitely doing pretty good here. Vlave still holding up the tail end of that pack there, and B7 Racing really just not in the race at all with them. Look at those 4 cars up ahead. You can already see a gap coming to Vlave, in fact. And then you've got GR4 still. So why don't we take a look at... Oh, here's the Monkey Mafia. So... I guess he eventually got going. Not sure what happened there, but he's already about to be lapped. We are on lap 1, and he is getting blue flagged by the GR4 leading field here. I'm not sure what happened with that start, why it was so slow, but Monkey Mafia is on the track now. So let's take a look at tires. Doug, by the way, in first place now. So Doug's on the softs. Big Red also on the soft tire. Hair Razor on the softs, as well as Vlave. So the top 4 in GR3 are on the softs. I do wonder what what Team B7 is on. B7 is on the mediums and is out in the barriers. Let's take a look and see if we can find out what happened there. Yep, just out in the grass at that hairpin, that final hairpin that I said was so tricky, so scary. Let's see if we can find out, go on board what happened here. Looks like he didn't outbrake himself, but maybe got on the gas too soon and thought, yeah, just looks like he just went wide, and that flipped him right on into the grass. He is on the medium tire. I should say, I don't know if Team B7 Racing is a male or a female, but that puts them completely out of the GR3 field. It does explain, the medium tire rather does explain why their pace was so slow compared to everyone else. Now Vlave has pretty much lost that front pack here. I don't know that anything specific happened. I think Vlave just doesn't necessarily have the same the pace that these other drivers have, because we've seen this before. We've seen Vlave in 4th place, pretty far back behind the top 3 or 4 if Ben's doing okay. Ben MK is not in the race today, it looks like. So yeah, Vlave just a little bit slow out of the hairpin here, and that puts a huge gap between them and 1 through 3 here. And I think that gap is just going to keep increasing as we go corner to corner through the first sector of the racetrack here. But you never know. Those 3 up top are right next to each other, racing together. Anything could happen. They could start slowing each other down if they get to fighting. So Vlave is not out of that race just yet. Supra on the racing mediums. I believe Supra started on the mediums last time as well. Bar also on the mediums. Happy Pappy mediums. Type R is on the racing softs. And Monkey Mafia on the mediums. So Type R started on the softs again, and I think we just keep seeing that Type R on the softs is still has trouble keeping up with the rest of the GR4 field, at least the top of the GR4 field. And well, I don't know. Maybe this race will be different. Monkey Mafia still leading up the rear, and probably will be for a lot of this race. Just because they got such a late start on the start. I mean, we were still on the first lap, and they were about to get lapped. So and we just lost Monkey Mafia. I think that's Monkey calling it quits there. So up front, Big Red versus Doug is a thing still. You know what? I want to see where this pass was made between the 2 of them. So here we are. Doug is leading down the front straight. And Big Red is just behind. Looks like Big Red goes to the outside, goes around the outside into turn 1. Doug gets a tighter entry into turn 2, but Big Red understands they don't have to get a tight entry into turn 1 to go into turn 2. You can stay wide, and you will still have the inside for turn 2. It's a beautiful, beautiful corner for that exact reason. And so that gave Big Red the lead there as they head into turns 5 and 6 here. Down the hill, Doug on the inside. Are they alongside? They are alongside. And Doug is going to make that pass. He's going to get up the hill ahead of the Ferrari, though. Just slightly. I think Big Red just decided to concede there. He had about a bumper still in overlap with Doug, but Doug goes ahead and grabs that. Big Red's going to hold on and maybe make a move in the straight here. I think even with the custom BOP, the Ferrari has a little more straight line than I forgot, we don't go through the big straight there. Uh-oh, Doug in the grass dips a couple of wheels in there. Is he able to block Big Red a little bit, keep Big Red from getting around him, even though he was slow there? But just kind of lucky for Doug not to lose it right there where that just happened. If we come here, we'll come on board with Doug. Coming into the final hairpin here. Gets apex, comes out, but then comes out wide, hits the grass, and is very, very sideways there. Is able to squeeze towards the wall to keep Big Red from getting by. As you saw Big Red trying to sneak around there, and Big Red is looking left and right, trying to get around, but looks like Doug was able to hold on to that. And now Big Red's going to be on the attack again. So meanwhile, all of this is sort of playing in Hairraiser's favor, right? I haven't seen Hairraiser make any real moves. They've just kind of been chilling in third place here. Probably saving tires if they're just following closely, and maybe saving some fuel too. Yeah, it looks like Hairraiser's got more fuel than either car, and a little less tire wear as well. Let's see here. Vlave is way back, so something must have happened to Vlave. He ended up off track at some point because he's way, way behind those three now. So definitely out of that race for first through third. Supra putting on a big, big gap to the rest of the GR4 field. They're just now rounding the next corner. That's Happy Pappy, followed by Bar. Bar was second in the class, so again, we probably missed a little bit of an incident there. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if Bar can make a pass back on Happy Pappy. Type Bar still hanging on those racing softs. And is going to need to pit before the rest of the field to take the mediums here. B7, meanwhile, is completely in last place. This is a GR3 car. B7 is on the mediums, but still should be faster than the GR4s on the softs if they had the pace. So I'm guessing that B7 maybe doesn't have the hang of the Lambo or doesn't have the hang of the track yet. And so that racer is pretty much out of contention for the GR3 field. Look at this. Doug and Big Red still going at it. Big Red now up front where Doug was before. And so I think these two are going to keep switching back and forth until one of them decides to just hang back and save fuel. But this fight right here is where the action is, it looks like. Little squirrely there for Big Red. Careful. Doug all the way in the grass through the S's. Able to slide, literally slide the Alpha back in line in front of Hairraiser. Hairraiser probably wondering, hey, if you're going to make more mistakes like that, you know, can you make them soon so I can go ahead and grab this position? That does slow Hairraiser down. As you can see, Big Red's now got a gap to Doug. Not a huge one. It's a bit more of a gap than it was before. And that has brought both of them, Doug jumping back in line there, has brought both of the Alfa Romeos down in speed. Doug with another little dip in the grass in the wheels there in turn 2. So we want to be more careful about that in those hairpins and the like. Big Red using all the track there. You can actually see just ahead. We just saw, yeah, that is our new racer. I can't remember his name. Oh no, he's in the wall. B7 Racing. So B7 into the wall there, not having a good time. Getting lapped by their own classmates, race class, that is. All these are GR3 cars that just left them on lap 7. So it's going to be a rough race for, it was going to be a rough race, but they decided to quit. So we also lost B7 Racer, which I get. The race was going bad. Meanwhile, these three, though, still putting on a clinic on racing together, on battling, on endurance racing, really, just staying up on the pack. Hair Raiser putting on a masterclass in saving fuel and tires behind a couple of guys. Not bad here. Let's see if Bar has made the pass on Happy Pappy. That was to be expected. Happy Pappy now actually has a Type R issue. Type R is just behind there. I kind of want to look at this battle, but I also don't want to miss anything over here. We're just going to keep going back and forth, y'all. Okay, so we've got the GR4 battle for second place here. Ooh, we've got a Bar going defensive, Happy Pappy trying to go around the outside and maybe put some pressure on. Where are the alphas? Oh man, I don't even know who to look at. I don't even know who to look at. Ooh, the alpha's almost touching there. They are racing pretty closely, which is letting Big Red get away a little bit. That's that same gap we were just looking at a moment ago when I came back from them. So the Alfa Romeo drivers are going to want to try to get it together. But I can see Hair Raiser being a bit impatient because Doug does keep having these moments where that they just slow way down, and that also slows Hair Raiser down, and they both end up losing Big Red a little bit here. They both got a big gap here. So Hair Raiser may be starting to Vlave into the wall. We just passed that happening. I'm not even sure how that happened. Just lost the rear end. This is turn 5. They braked for it. Up. Too much throttle. Overrun the rears, and then boom. And did they try to correct that at all? Sorry. Now I just gotta analyze and reanalyze, right? Yeah, just overwhelm the tires. And then got off the gas real fast, which completely changed the attitude of the car. I would have maybe let off a little bit smoother, but Vlave now a GR3 in last place, and I think Vlave has just about had it. I think that is Vlave giving up, tearing up the rest of the tires. GG to everyone. That's the GR3 field that just passed by. So I think Vlave's gonna tear up those rears and call it a day. This is a burnout of frustration, which I completely understand. Sometimes it's not your day. Oh, Vlave keeping it up, continuing. All right, I like it. You like it, I love it. The Alphas are right back up on Big Red now, so right back in that. Meanwhile, our GR4 situation is that Type R has made the pass on Happy Pappy, and I want to see how that happened. I was so busy looking at Vlave that I didn't even see that go down. Oh, it went down a long time ago. Alright, here we are. We are with Type R headed into turn 5. Type R fakes inside. That sends Happy Pappy inside to try to defend, but Happy goes a bit wide, and that does give Type R this better run up the hill. Still, that's not a pass, though. You still got to get through these S's, and that's Happy Pappy's going to have the inside. Oh, he had to concede. So Happy Pappy concedes to Type R into the S's, and that's what gets Type R the position. Got it. Well done by Type R to get that run up the hill in turn 5 there. Well done to fake like you were about to go inside on Happy Pappy. That's what threw that line off and caused the whole effect. Meanwhile, Bar has not lost these two, so there's a chance that Bar could have to worry about Type R, especially since Type R's on those softs right now. They are wearing down, but they're not worn down just yet. By the way, Vlave, still in the race. A class act. Definitely going to need some rears, though. Can't imagine that Ferrari is too fun to drive with no... Yep. right there. Just caught a lot of curb, and it threw that back end out of there. Right as I saw it. That's right as I said it. All right, we'll go back up front here. Looks like these three have sort of settled down a bit. I think I'm going to just mute my mic and we'll just listen to the sounds of the race for a bit. The GR3 leaders are starting to catch up to and are about to lap the GR4 leaders. In fact, here comes Big Red on Happy Pappy. This might break up that GR3 battle a little bit because we've got some corners to go through here. A bit of a short straight, start-finish straight. We'll see if the GR3 drivers can get past all four GR4 cars in it. And it looks like they just might. No, Bar is still in there. Big Red is able to get ahead of Bar, though, so that does put a GR4 car in between himself and Doug, as well as Hair Razor. So now those two need to get past Bar in one of these corners. So a really good spot there for Big Red to get a bit of a gap before this downhill straight into turn 5. Doug is through, as is Hair Razor now, so they are back on the chase, but you can see the advantage that Big Red got there by just getting past Bar in turn 1. Got a good gap that if they can keep it steady, they should be able to keep that gap. Meanwhile, how has that affected the GR3 fight, the GR4 fight rather, the fight for second? Bar with a huge gap now to Type R and Happy Pappy. These two have stayed together, but I believe that slowing down to let the GR3 field through has also given Bar a huge advantage over the drivers who were ahead of him. So good luck there. Really awesome luck there. Here comes Supra way ahead of the rest of the field. Just gotta probably get Blue's flag here and let these three cars rather pass fairly easily. Big Red with the same move, another pass right there into turn 1, and that leaves Doug and Hair Razor needing to negotiate corners to get past Supra, though we do have that straight coming up and they should be right on him by then and should easily be past that GR4 car down the hill and easily outbrake him at the corner. Well, maybe not. Looks like they had to slow down because they couldn't make the pass before the corner, before the straight. They are able to get past using a slingshot, but as you can see, Doug going pretty wide doing that. Looks like he's able to keep the tires out of the dirty stuff, and they are through now. And what is it looking like? It looks like Big Red is up the road. So Doug and Hair Razor are going to want to work together to get back up there. No need to fight each other. You've got first place to now chase down after being such a close battle with them for 12 laps. 11 laps, really. For 11 laps, everyone's really close. Ooh, that's Doug going wide, and that's going to let Hair Raiser through, which it's probably been about time, Hair Raiser's thinking. Hair Raiser has saved a ton of fuel over Doug and a good amount of tire wear. Might be able to outbrake him here, but you know what? Doesn't even bother. He's like, that's fine. You can take it. I will save some more. That's not a problem with me. I know that I can outbrake you, and I know that I can pass you in the pits as long as I can stay close to you. But meanwhile, while Doug's making mistakes, that's letting Big Red get further and further away. So Hair Raiser's going to want to keep that in mind as well. At some point, that fuel advantage isn't going to count for anything. Doug going defensive here, trying to squeeze Hair Raiser out. Hair Raiser breaks a bit early to let Doug through in turn 5. But it looks like Hair Raiser is starting to try it now. Hair Raiser wants to get up there to Big Red. And he's starting to make moves on Doug to try to make that happen. Now, he's got to make that move and make it fast, though. It can't be a move that's prolonged. It can't be, 5 corners of fighting, right? It needs to be a setup and get it done. Otherwise, Big Red's just going to keep getting further and further up the road. What's it looking like for Type R? Type R has kind of lost Happy Pappy. Not lost. That's a lie. But put a little bit of a gap on him. A little bit of a gap. But look at this gap to Bar. I mean, there's not even they're not even the same camera view. Ooh. Doug into the pits. Hair Raiser is going to take advantage and go ahead and go through. I know Hair Raiser was super frustrated being behind Doug that whole time. So Hair Raiser probably going to take this time to try to catch up to Big Red, or maybe run the same pit strategy as Big Red. But Doug is in, whereas traditionally I think we've seen the two alphas pit in together. Things seemed a bit different here. Doug's going to come out behind Type R and Happy Pappy, and just need to get past those two. But we are on lap 15, 19 minutes into the race, so not quite halfway. Doug has jumped onto the mediums. We've seen this before. Doug will jump on the mediums, and I believe jump back onto the softs for the third and final stint of the race. Excuse me. And here he comes, picking his way through GR4 here. Easily past Happy Pappy. It looks like easily past Type R, who we hear miss a shift there. Not the place to do that, Type R. You don't want to miss a shift uphill. Vlave is still in the race after taking some time to hoon. A lot of time to hoon, really. Vlave took some time to wear those tires out, to do a little drifting, to do a little hooning, and has pitted and come back out on the mediums. Big Red is in. Hair Raiser stays out. Hair Raiser again has a fairly good set of racing softs still on and a good amount of fuel. So Hair Raiser, could he really use this time to get some clean laps and put some speed on track here? Maybe eke out something that'll work out for them in the third stint, maybe even the second stint. I don't know. We'll see when they pit where they come out compared to Doug and Big Red. But right now, Hair Raiser has a big advantage to be able to stay on the softs for a little bit longer, as they've been taken care of, and has fuel for a little bit longer as well. Doug, where are you? Doug has just passed Bar and comes out of the pits ahead of Big Red. So Big Red comes out in third place instead of second. So that big gap that he had on Doug, pretty much gone. That said, Big Red put a bit more fuel in the Ferrari than Doug put in the Alfa Romeo. So it could be helpful if Doug's able to save that fuel, but I'm not sure if he will. You really kind of need to rev that Alfa Romeo out to get the most out of it. It's a little 4-cylinder, little turbo 4, and it's enough to propel the Alfa around, but it's not the fastest, whereas Doug has a V8. It is a high revving V8, don't get me wrong. It's also going to eat fuel, but he's probably got a little bit more leeway. Sorry, Big Red. I did say Big Red. Sorry. Big Red has a little bit more leeway probably in just how high he's got to rev that V8 to get it to put down power than Doug does. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, see how it works out. It'll probably matter in the third stint if Big Red isn't able to make a pass here. We both know, mean, we know these two are probably going to pit again to get back on the softs, and we'll see if Doug's fuel strategy paid out versus Big Red's. Meanwhile, Hair Razor staying out. Like I said, has taken a couple more laps already over the last two guys on the softs. Like I said, the advantage of being able to stay on the softs a little bit longer is that you get to lap faster for longer. Just put down a 1:19.3, which is pretty slow. Oh, well. Big Red already passed Doug. Can we see it? How'd it happen? Into turn 5, alongside into turn 5, just breaks deeper into it and makes that pass fairly easily there. And yeah, that's that on that. So let's see if he can keep the position here. Like I said, Hair Razor putting down a 1:19.2 just this last lap here. Looks like the timing is weird. It always is on the replays. It just is what it is. Got these two still going at it. We've got Type R and Happy Pappy still racing together. That was Bar's Ferrari that you could hear off to the left there, screeching the tires and putting it down on that flat plane crank V8. And my boy Vlave still holding it down in last place. Still just racing, just being a gentleman driver, not no rage quit here. These two have spent the entire race battling pretty much. Big Red did get that big gap on Doug and Hair Razor for a little bit there, but both cars pitted, and Big Red came out right behind Doug, and that started the battle anew. And so here they are, still going at it like it's not an endurance race, like it's a sprint. I guess technically it is. Technically, it's in real world terms, it's pretty much sprint race length, 50 minutes. In the race world, rather, the digital world, we have some implements in place to make it feel more like an enduro, like heightened tire wear and heightened fuel use. But these two are feeling like I can battle for an hour. That's not a problem. I have no problem fighting it out for an entire, well, close to an hour, 50 minutes. We're actually about to hit the halfway mark in just a few seconds here. Man, Doug is right there, and he's getting a lot of aero wash being there. You can see the car's a little bit twitchy on him, a little bit out of control coming out of that corner. That is because it was a bit out of sorts in all that dirty air, but what can you do? You gotta be able to race in dirty air out here. Doug with, I don't know if that was a little bit of a touch, but it nudged Big Red sideways. Let's see it from back here. Looks like we got a little bit of a nudge on Big Red, or maybe Big Red got sideways on their own. So Doug's going to go for an undercut here. Breaks pretty early, very wide, goes inside, and yeah, we got some fender touch there. So that kind of threw Big Red's rear out from under him. And I think Big Red, if he's not able to get this position back, might have the stewards have looked at it. I'm not sure. I don't check the Discord for such things because I don't want spoilers. Anyway, Doug's back up, and you know what? Rubbin's racing. Rubbin is racing. Ooh, careful now. Big Red wants that position back and is bullying Doug on the inside of these corners, these last two corners to the straight. But Doug's got the inside for turn 1, which doesn't matter a whole lot. As I've told you, you can very easily take a wide turn 1 and still turn in for turn 2 just fine. Doug opts for the opposite, looking for a great run through turn 2 there, and got a decent one. There's just not space to pass just yet. But as you can see, Doug is just putting on pressure. even if the pass isn't there, Doug is making sure. I'm sorry, Big Red. My bad. Big Red is putting on pressure. Even if the pass isn't there, Big Red is making sure that his nose is. He's like, hey, but my nose in here though. Hey, hello. Another pass up the inside for turn 5. Another attempt at one. Is it going to stick? It does stick. Doug tucks in behind Big Red while Big Red beats him up the hill and into the S's. But hey, Doug has also made that same pass on Big Red. So what does that mean? Hairraiser into the pits, as is Vlave. Hairraiser's on the softs, going to go on the mediums. Vlave was on the mediums and should go on the softs. We're going to stay right here with this fight, though. I'm not worried about that. But our race leader, Hairraiser, who was in third for the entire first stint, is now in. And we're going to see where he comes out. Here come the leaders passing Hairraiser, Big Red, and Doug Barrow. And Hairraiser is not out of the pits just yet. So it looks like they're about to make a huge pass. Yep, he is still fueling and is just now coming out as Big Red and Doug get through turn 2. So Hairraiser with a big gap to make up on these mediums. That extra stint on the softs didn't really work out for him, and looking at the timing, it kind of makes sense. So that's unfortunate for Hairraiser. You can see him way in the background in that last shot right there. But we're going to keep an eye on Big Red and Doug and see what they can do. There is going to be a third stint. These drivers will all probably pit at some point again to take fuel and soft tires, and that gives Hairraiser another chance at getting the strategy right. So we'll see what happens with that. Meanwhile, GR4 looks the same up front. Supra alone. Bar alone behind Supra, and Happy Pappy and Type R still going at it. So basically this is the Big Red and Doug of GR4. Big Red's into the pits, gonna go on those softs now. Doug stays out on the mediums, it looks like, but Big Red jumping onto the faster tire now. Everyone else in GR3 is on mediums, so this is probably a good time to do that for Big. Hopefully they last. These two have got to pit at some point, though, right? Look at Type R's fronts. Those are done. They're toasted. But Type R is still keeping that Ferrari well in heel. But at some point, you don't want to let those go. Happy Pappy's been on the mediums this whole time. And they're worn as well, but not nearly as bad as the softs. And Happy is keeping up with Type R without issue. We've seen this for laps at this point. I forgot these two were even on a different tire. Here comes Happy into the pits. Gonna grab those mediums. GR3 is all broken up. Big Red has just pitted for softs and came out behind, much behind Hairraiser, so there's not a chance of a fight there for a while, though Hairraiser's on the mediums. Big Red's about a few corners back, so that gap is going to start shrinking. Supra also owes a pit stop, and it's out of fuel, so that's probably going to happen in a couple of corners here. Bar needing to pit as well. Basically, the whole GR4 field except Happy Pappy needs to pit. Happy just went in and grabbed the softs after starting on the mediums, so Happy will now be on the faster compound in GR4. Careful, Doug. Keep it. Don't lose it. You can't afford to. Hairraiser's back there. Big Red is back there. And neither one of them has given you an inch today. So GR4 starting to pit. We saw Happy Pappy pit last lap. Here comes Bar on the medium. Supra also on the mediums, if you recall. Now Bar is behind Supra. Came in second, but as you see, Bar has a lot more fuel than Supra. He may not have to spend as much time in the pits, depending on how much fuel he's looking to take, and could possibly get a lot closer or even jump Supra. They're both going to go from the medium tire to the soft. Supra is out. Bar is also jumping out here, but I think I think that gap's going to be very similar. Bar gets out just in front of Doug, and it's going to be getting hailed with blue flags, and so is immediately going to have to slow down. Super came out behind Vlave, and so avoided blue flags altogether. So I don't think that there's going to be much of an advantage to Bar coming out, coming into the pits with more fuel, unfortunately there. Yeah, Super is still way up the road. Bar tries to move out of the way of Doug there and makes a mistake. It's Doug's job to move and make the pass, not Bar's, and ends up blocking Doug. They both collide. None too worse for the wear, really, but that would have slowed both cars down, and it almost took Bar out. So you want to be careful when you're getting blue flag. You just kind of hold your line, especially in a straight line like that. You don't move. Just hold your line. Let that higher class person go ahead and take the pass, because, you know, Doug was just back there getting a slipstream, right? Doug was pulling up and then was going to slide out at the last minute. Instead, Bar slid out, and they both hit each other. Happy Pappy, what have we got going on here? Happy's feed is really stuttery for me, so I think maybe that's just like a lag thing. We're gonna go hit up Doug Barrow, who is back in first place, but now pitting. Where's Hair Razor? Hair Razor's coming around the last corner now, so Hair Razor is gonna make a pass and inherit first place here. While Doug switches to the mediums. Doug's also going to want to put some fuel into that Alpha. Shouldn't have to take too much. Here comes Big Red, also about to cross the start-finish line, and should get out ahead of Doug, but probably not too far ahead. Yep, Doug, done fueling, comes out just a few meters behind Big Red into turn one. So we may see these two go at it again pretty soon here. Hair Razor, meanwhile, is up front. On the mediums, these two, Big Red and Doug, are both on the softs now. Hair Razor stayed out a bit longer on their first set of softs, and so they're going to owe a pit stop to get that tire as well. And if I were them, I would probably go ahead and do it now. Even though I haven't had that long on the mediums, it might not be advantageous of me to keep letting the gap get smaller and smaller to the cars behind me who are on the softs, only to then also have to pit on top of that to get on the softs as well. So you might as well take your pit stop. You know you're going to have to get on your softs so that you can keep pace with the two drivers behind you and possibly get back into the battle for first. You're definitely not going to come out of the pits in front of them, more than likely. But, well, maybe if they had taken that pit stop right there, it's quite possible that they could have come out of the pits ahead of Big Red and Doug, because the pit stop is short here and all they need is tires. They don't need fuel. But they didn't, and that gap is going to get smaller and smaller every corner. I really wish we could see the timing. If we could stream this live, it would be fantastic. But unfortunately, I cannot. No, Saturday nights. So, Doug, third place. We've got Big Red up there in second, just making a pass on Happy Pappy into turn 5. Looked like it was pretty easy. Hair Razor making a pass on Supra here. So the GR4 field, definitely traffic for the GR3 field. Everyone is intermingling and mixing now. Hair Razor's about to have to do the same with Type R, and all of this stuff is possibly slowing them down. Hair Razor once again passes the pits, and I'm curious to know if this strategy is going to work out for them. You know the cars, your two rivals are behind you. You know they're on the softer tire, they're on the faster tire, and you are on a slower one. So that gap currently, there's literally no way for you to be faster than them. But maybe Hair Razor is gambling on those softs falling off later in the stint, and them having fresher softs. But I mean, that's a gamble. That's definitely a gamble. Type R finally pits. After running them softs into the ground and takes the mediums. Happy Pappy, who they had been battling, is on the softs and it took them a little while to go. Type R is not planning to spend too much time on the mediums. It looks like they've taken less fuel than Happy Pappy, Bar, or Supra. So curious to know what that's going to look like. Vlave, meanwhile, after the pit stops, is back into 4th place, back into the back of the GR3 pack. So good for Vlave there. Working his way past the GR4 field. I'm sorry, Super Ninja. I did not realize that you asked me how long the race is, and you probably asked a long, long time ago. It's 50 minutes. Doug sees he's not too far from Big Red. He made a pretty good pass on Super there, and it just looks like he is really catching Big Red in some of these corners. Yeah, definitely a huge difference in the gap before that last corner there and now. So I think Big Red needs to watch out, or he's going to find himself right back into this huge battle with Doug. It's just going to slow them down while Hair Razor keeps on going up the road on those mediums. In fact, Hair Razor on the mediums is doing similar laps to Big Red on the softs. Which, well, what can you say about that? Who just went purple? Was that Big Red or Doug there? Somebody just had a purple sector. Let's see. Purple second sector, I believe. First sector, rather. Yep, that was Big Red. In sector 1 with a 29, almost flat. That's the fastest so far. And as predicted, Doug is pretty much here at this point. So now, in just a couple more corners, it's going to be Doug v. Big Red all over again. I don't know where Doug picked up all that pace from, but he caught right back up. And it makes me wonder if these battles between these two haven't been Um, just more of a frustration of not being able to get a pass, not necessarily being slower, but not being able to pass the guy or make it stick. Either way, they've been battling really well, and it's good to see Doug right back in it. Doug goes wide there, though, into turn 4. Very easy to do in someone's dirty air. You just gotta kind of turn in more aggressively when you are behind someone. You brake a little earlier. You try to hit that apex earlier than you think you need to, because that aero wash, that light front splitter and front canard area is going to really affect your ability to turn into the corner when you're following behind a car that's punching a big old hole in your downforce. Doug with a massive slide through the S's. That's not good. Can we revisit that from this camera angle? Yep, got in the grass, got through the rear out from under him, but he was able to catch it again. But that definitely gave Barr a little bit more breathing room than he had before, but not a whole lot. It didn't throw Doug off too bad. It's just a bit of bad luck into an uphill run. Pardon me. Meanwhile, is anyone battling it out in GR4? Not since Type R pitted, not since Pappy rather pitted and ended that battle with Type R. Type R is way in the back here. It looks like we did finally lose Vlave. So Vlave out of the race here. After making it into 4th place. So I guess, I don't know if that was a disconnect or what, but Vlave out. We are down to 7 drivers. We are at lap 32. 42 minutes into a 50-minute race, so we are almost at the end here. And it's looking pretty interesting in GR1 because Hair Razor has stayed out on those mediums. And now I wonder if they do need to pit to take the softs. Like I said, they've been doing almost the same lap times as these 2 cars on the softs, though the soft cars are jumping into the 117s from time to time. There's not a whole lot of racing left to catch up to Hair Razor, though I don't know. Hair Razor's not as far as they once were, so that gap is closing. So that's something Hair Razor's going to want to think about. I've got 8 minutes. The gap's closing. Is it closing so fast that I want to consider going ahead and pitting for softs so I have a fighting chance? I think the chance to pit for softs and still come out ahead of these 2 is gone. That was gone a few laps ago. But there's a chance to pit for softs and have fresher tires and chase them down for the rest of the race, perhaps. Again, it's going to be a gamble. It'd be a gamble that you'd have to take. Me personally, I would probably just try to stick it out and see if I could defend with the mediums versus the worn softs. I think that's the way I would play it. But taking a pit stop, hopefully a fast one, is also an option. I didn't count the pit delta. Didn't measure it. Like when everyone pitted, I didn't pay attention to how long it took them because everyone took fuel on their pit stops for the most part. So I'm not exactly sure what it would cost Hair Razor in time to jump in for a quick tire change. Tires themselves add 2 seconds to a pit stop, I believe, is the count. See, both drivers getting a little twitchy there. Out of turn 2, just eager to get back on the gas, I guess. Makes sense. It's a very, very slow turn. It takes so much patience to get through that turn correctly. And you really always think you can get on the gas faster than you can. It will fool you. Type R, meanwhile, has not been able to catch back up to Happy Pappy and is really running out of time to do this. So we got 5 minutes left in the race. I don't think they're going to be able to make that pass unless Happy makes a mistake. Meanwhile, Hair Raiser is still up front on those medium tires with a lot of room, and with the two drivers behind, not necessarily in a battle yet. I don't see that Doug has really got in there and tried to harrow. Harrow, is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. And really tried to harass Big Red, but Big Red has to know it's coming. It's got to be coming. So I don't think Big Red has to go defensive just yet to the corners. Doug's still a bit far, but Big's got to be paying attention to the fact that Doug's back there. And it may be just a matter of trying to catch up. I'm surprised that Doug doesn't chase there to try to get a slipstream up down this straight here. Not really sure why he didn't. I would have definitely taken advantage of that. You saw Big Red make that move exactly to avoid Doug having his slipstream, and Doug gave him exactly what he wanted, and now Doug's a little bit further away, as you can see, coming up through the S's. However, this is where the Alpha should shine versus the Ferrari, but it didn't. Not that time. That section is over. I do believe Doug's a little bit better in breaking into this hairpin than Big Red is, but Doug has to slow down and wait for this GR4 car first. And still is not taking any slipstream from Hair Raiser in these straights, and I don't get that. Maybe he doesn't want the position. I have no idea. But he's not really taking advantage of the slipstream to get that much closer and try to make something happen in these last 4 or 5 minutes here. 3 minutes, really. Hair Raiser still a good way up the road. Not as far up the road as they used to be, but I think far enough at this point. I'm pretty confident that Hair Raiser is going to be able to do this without having to fight anybody. So good for them. Staying out on those softs absolutely did work for them. My bad. Thought it wouldn't. It did. Saving fuel also worked for them, as they were able to get away with putting less fuel and spending less time in the pits than everyone else, technically, because they were able to just put enough fuel for one extra stint in there, versus Doug, who I believe had to take fuel on both stops. Doug stays in the slipstream this time around, but it might be too late. We are running out of race. 2 minutes left. The GR4 field is got nothing really going on. Here's Type R with a penalty, but Type R was in last place anyway and wasn't in any battles. So the only battle here is the battle for second place. Big Red versus Doug, as we start the countdown to the end of this race. Keep an eye on the arrow. So we're the red arrow right now. We are Big Red right now. The arrow ahead of Big Red is Hair Raiser. So watch for when that arrow crosses the start finish line again. The big double lines on the top left there. If they cross before the 50-minute mark, there will be another lap to the race. And I think they're going to cross before it. They don't have another 60 seconds worth of racetrack ahead of them. So we're going to have another lap, which means Doug's going to have one more chance. Though Doug's even further away now than he was a few moments ago. Yeah, Hair Raiser is definitely going to cross that line and take the white flag to send him around one more time. Well, Doug sure did make up that gap right as I was talking, right in the S's. So let's see. Let's see what Doug can do here. These two are going to cross. No flag waving, but you can pretty much guess this is the second to last lap here. Or sorry, the very last lap here. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. Big Red gets out of sorts into turn 2 and loses the position. What happened there? Just took a lot of curb, ended up way outside in the corner, and that gives Doug the position. Is Doug gonna get to keep it though? We do have this final lap to go. I don't think Big Red Well, you know, I can't say that. There's still most of the track to go, but it's a very short track. It's a very short layout. It's not the whole thing. There's only a few corners between now and the last corner, and most of it is through kind of sweeping curves like this, stuff that the Alfa Romeo does very well in. Doug probably can't believe his luck right now because he was looking at trying to see if he could make a last minute move in this last lap, and it ended up being handed to him. Here they come towards the very final corner. That gap is too big for Big Red to make a move, so unless Doug messes it up here, yeah, no, that's Hair Razor taking the checker flag. Here comes Doug. He's about to take the checker in second place, followed by Big Red. Now, they've already ended the GR4 race. Supra in first place, as expected from the jump of the race here. Bar in second. Happy Pappy and Type R are going across right now. Well, Happy is. Type R is not even in the frame yet. There he is. Type R, and drops off that penalty, crosses the line. That's the end of our race, y'all. So nice race, nice finish, everyone. Cool.